Travis on the left, Luke on the right. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of their accomplishments here.
Travis Beckwith, EUIC, top 64. Really impressive. EUIC, you know, was a really big culmination for sort of the return to competitive play.
Then, of course, OCIC, senior top 4 in 2020, senior champion for Richmond Regionals 2019, and the junior finalist for U.S. Nationals 2016. Again,
really competing for a long time, like you said.
Yeah, just a stalwart of the game and trying to just prove his worth here in the Masters division.
And also hoping again that Mew VMAX, there's hopefully enough of a smoke screen on the field of decks at play that Mew can still consistently do what it wants to do without getting targeted too heavily. As long as a deck isn't based around directly disrupting Mew and lets it do what it wants, then it can take those quick KOs.
Let's go ahead and take a look at Luke Smith here. And we got a top 64 at the Atlanta City Regionals in 2020. So not as accomplished as Travis, at least for now, but trying to make a name for himself here in top 8 and does have a pretty healthy matchup just thanks to that Crobat VMAX.
Crobat VMAX, the card we talked about where Crobat V can be such a detriment. If it ends up in the active spot at the start of the game as you're starting basic, if your opponent's running past the peak and denies you that card draw, it can really set you far behind. But now, taking advantage of the fact that Crobat V has a max evolution, can find an extra darkness attacker for your deck to hit Mew for that weakness.
A lot of energy in the prizes for Luke. Meanwhile, 2 battle VIP pass for Travis there. Turn 1 won't be as explosive unless we see the other few copies, but are you ready? This is the beginning of Top Cut here for this weekend. This is the moment we've been waiting for, trying to get down to these last few players.
Yes, we're about to jump into the game. There's the fist bump to get it started off, Jeremy. Top 8 of the Secaucus TCG Regional Championships.
Starts with a Genesect and another one to go along with it, but this hand looks all right. You have that Cramomatic to be able to search for potentially an energy, hopefully.
And did that stay on the table?
Looks like it was a heads.
All right, the hand is fixed. We can get a card here. If you hit that heads after you discard another item card, you can search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. Perfect for finding the exact thing you need. Travis, of course, is going to take the time to take a look through the deck, take stock of what resources are in the prize cards, and the battle VIP pass is being eyeballed already.
Yeah, who needs to draw into the other 2 copies when you can just search for it here? A great start with Travis with that heads from Cramomatic.
Just taking some notes. This is another thing that we've seen from time to time. As players do have a notepad available, they can jot some things down just to keep everything straight. And the battle VIP pass is added to the hand, and we're going to play it here. Goes searching through the deck once more. There's 1 Mew V in the prize cards, but there's still plenty of what you want in the deck. Go ahead and pull those out right now.
Does seem to be the double Mew V. Has that double turbo energy in hand. That is the 1 in the deck, so not too bad having it turn 1. Opens up plays for less of Sparkle maybe later on with that Meloetta.
So 1 Mew V being found for the Battle VIP pass, and decides on Genesect over the Meloetta, still reconsidering, and commits to it.
Your search is not final until you start shuffling your deck, so always good to double check and make sure you want to grab those specific cards. Here, opting for the Genesect V just for some extra draw power. Maybe you can get some more stuff going. Find that Meloetta maybe a little later on after you thin that hand down.
That is a very important branching path now. Are you valuing the Genesect V for more card draw, more resources, more consistency, or do you want the Meloetta right out of the gate and start threatening more aggression?
Oh, now this is a hard decision to make for Travis. You have the Ultra Ball, but you have 2 cards in your hand, 3 cards technically that you don't want to discard. The Alessa Sparkle and the training card are going to be some of the big cards for this matchup. The Alessa, you're just going to have to find next turn potentially. So you don't want to get rid of it, but you might have to here. That training card's a lot more important. Your opponent's playing 3 Paths to the Peak.
Yeah, you need that training card in order to overwrite that stadium and get access once again to your Fusion Strike systems to keep that card draw going. Opts for the discard here on the Alessa Sparkle. If you can just naturally draw into another one, you can still fish those Fusion Strike energies out of the deck and keep your attacks going. But for now, just going to find the Meloetta now.
And that's also just the fact that Travis only plays 2 stadiums, the Rose Tower and the Training Court. Not much else going on to combat that Path to the Peak.
And after this shuffle, we're going to see Travis also start to refill the hand using his Fusion Strike systems here. Here's the first one of 3. Draws up to 5 cards in the hand. Couple power tablets I'm spotting there.
Oh no, that's not good. You'll be able to draw just 2 more cards with your other Fusion Strike system, but those are 2 cards you don't want to use. You want to save those so you can get a big KO on an Arceus V next turn. And another Fusion Strike system, or Fusion Strike energy. Just a pass.
Just a pass. No way to thin the hand to make use of the further systems. So this gives an opportunity for Luke Smith to come into this game. Travis has a strong foundation, but no immediate threat as of yet. If we can get the Arceus set up, accelerating energies onto another big attacker, we can take a great swing back into Travis's board.
Little awkward hand here for Luke. Both of his Arceus V-Stars in the hand, has to discard one of them to be able to Ultra Ball for Crobat V. No supporter available to draw some cards for Luke, so gonna have to rely heavily on this Crobat to just set up for the turn. Best case scenario, double turbo energy off the top.
Double turbo energy off the top. I'm praying for it, just like you are, Jeremy. We want these games to be close. Now that we're in the top 8, it would be a real shame if, we just got a bunch of bricks, bad prizes, etc. But making it this far, the players are consistent whether or not that bad variant starts to rear its ugly head, and that's the important part. If your deck is built optimally, it's not just about doing what it wants to do, but also kind of baking in resistance to that bad luck.
Opts to attach the Metal Energy just to draw an extra card here, and it was good just because no double turbo in sight for that Dark Asset ability, and we'll just have to play out the turn like normal, hopefully maybe getting another Arceus down, because even with that Big Charm, it's still pretty easy to get knocked out with that Mew.
Yeah, you need the V-Star at the very least to bolster that HP total. So easy right now for one of these Mew Vs to evolve into the Mew V Max, come up into the active spot, something with Alessa Sparkle to get even more Fusion Strike energy into play to set up for that Melodious Echo attack.
Finds the Bidoof off the Quick Ball. Has the Hoopa in hand, I believe, but no Trinity Charge available for Luke. So just a pass of the turn, and this is Travis's moment to turn the tides, take a big lead here. No Path to the Peak in play, no problem.
This gives you access to so many resources. Rotom Phone now, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and pick one to put on top, and it's super easy to get access to that card of your choice due to the Fusion Strike system. Travis is going to take a moment to just scope out what exactly I need to put on top.
Oh, wow. The awkward part is Travis's hand has both of his stadiums there. Kind of we're wishing that Luke played a Path to the Peak just so you can get one of these out of your hand for some value.
That's actually really funny, right? Where you're keeping the tech, you're trying to keep the counter, and with Mew, you want to thin your hand. You want to get rid of your cards with Ultra Ball, with Quick Ball, etc., Cram-O-Matic, because you want to then refill your hand with the Fusion Strike system. So Travis, being very respectful of Luke's Path to the Peak, is slowing down the potential explosiveness of this Mew VMAX.
Well, here we see Training Court hit the table for Travis. You're going to have to try to draw some cards. Needs a way out of the active spot here. Plays that Power Tablet. I believe has the Mew VMAX on top of the deck. Oh, no, it was a quick ball, just to thin the hand down.
Okay, so we're getting more thinning, more thinning. Because there's no path to the peak, I think this is why Travis is setting it up to use as many Fusion Strike systems as possible, going for the quick ball on top from the Rotom Phone. Discarding another card, looking for another basic Pokemon to put in the hand. The bench is full, but this is just all about thinning out the deck.
With the quick ball, though, that just means you still need the Mew VMAX to actually do some big numbers, or you can still draw the Alesso Sparkle to get some Fusion Strike energy in play. But this is just a little bit awkward. We'll have to try to rely on the last two Fusion Strike systems to cobble together an attack. And if you don't, that's at least one power tablet wasted.
The Alesso Sparkle being discarded much earlier in the game, I believe, for an Ultra Ball. Now proving to be awkward because you can't accelerate that energy the way you want to immediately threaten your opponent with the Melodious Echo.
Even here, grabbing the Oricorio just to discard it. So you're not thinning your hand down by 2 like you would normally with a quick ball and discarding something else. Travis prioritizing the Stadium in hand, the other power tablet, and the boss's orders. If you don't have the attack this turn, you could boss something up. But again, something you might just want to save for later. He's only playing 2.
And in this situation, players would often, you know, boss up that Crobat V, a card that isn't really in danger of doing any threatening attacks to you, but
those 3 cards were just the perfect 3 cards Travis could ask for. Switch and Mew VMAX to go along with a Cram-O-Matic. So, this hand has just opened up perfectly.
The difference between a good card, a good hand, and a bad hand is 1 card, as you said earlier, Jeremy, and it's showing its stuff here. All 3 Fusion Strike systems expended, and it looks like Travis was indeed able to put this turn back together, and with a swing, could take a massive advantage here in the first game of top 8.
Yeah, math works out perfectly. Power Tablet negates the Big Charm on Luke's Arceus. So that means the attack does 210 damage, minus the 20 from the double turbo, plus the 30 from the other Power Tablet, and that's 220. So 250 total for the knockout.
Wonderful. And so now with the turn going back over to Luke, we've got the Bibarel, we've got Industrious and Scissors about to happen.
But for 2 cards, that's not what you want to see. You do have an Arceus, but no way to get it into the active spot and charge up your Crobat or Hoopa. And manual attachments are not going to do it here. Travis has the boss's orders in hand, and this could be a quick one.
Yeah, when you're in a position like this where you're bossing up something into the active just to stall by yourself a few turns, it does usually not work out very well. And Travis just immediately counters that play with the escape rope. Crobat V comes into the active, and Luke recognizes that this first game is not his to win.
Yeah, that was just a clinic by Travis. Just a few turns is all it took.
It was so shaky. It looked like the Mew was actually going to break out. It looked close, and then suddenly just able to put it together and start that train going. Luke, unfortunately, you know, that train left the station a little bit too slowly.
And that's such a big sigh of relief. You saw Travis do it there. Being able to take the first game in a matchup where you're not really favored. Your only hope is to go out of the gate swinging super fast and super hard. Travis was able to do that thanks to going first, and it just left Luke with nothing.
Yeah, hitting that Cram-O-Matic and then choosing the Genesect off of the Battle VIP pass over the Meloetta means you got a little bit more card draw, and that definitely made the difference, having that extra Genesect be there. Because if you had one more bench slot, maybe Travis goes for benching the Oricorio rather than discarding it in order to thin the hand and trying to draw more cards that way. So overall, just very effective, knowing exactly what your role is in the matchup.
We're going to have to see if Luke can pull out a comeback and win 2 games in a row. Again, you play these Dark Pokemon in your deck for this specific matchup, but if you never get to attack, there's not much really you can do.
If you don't, yeah, exactly. You can't make it. You can't make use of your weakness in order to get that double damage in order to snipe these Mew VMAXs before they start rolling over your board. But Luke still seems very calm, very confident because, as you said, Jeremy, he is the favored one in this matchup potentially because of those dark Pokemon. And as we head into Game 2, might be able to put through this clean 2-0 sweep. Who knows, right? If Travis might get a bad opening start, maybe some key cards prized, and have a little bit of an easier time doing it. And we see a mulligan, actually. So that means that Luke's going to be starting off with one extra card.
The Charon's Care could be a little worrisome in the prizes there, along with that Crobat up in the top. We'll have to see how it plays out. Mew is one of those decks that is able to take those big one-hit knockouts like we saw last game. But if you don't, Arceus does have that technology to be able to just pick it up, try again next turn.
If Arceus can put the big charm on and force Travis to jump through a lot of extra maneuvering to get power tablets and try to make these bigger swings happen, if you buy yourself that extra turn, if you force Travis to set up a potential 2-turn KO to get the punish with the Charon's Care, it could pay dividends. One
Already
Genesect in the
3
prizes.
terrible prizes.
Ooh, and the
wow.
power tablets. This means the big charm might actually matter immensely in this matchup. 2 Genesect, 2 power tablet. That's a lot of power, a lot of card draw off of the table. And so Arceus with the Crobat backup seems like this is its moment to shine.
Definitely looks like it. You also have access to that Path to the Peak in hand from Luke. That's one thing we didn't see Game 1, where he plays 3 copies. So it was kind of weird not to see one.
And so having Path to the Peak will allow Luke to lock Travis out of potentially drawing. And Travis was also fortunate to get 2 stadiums in that first game. So if the Path to the Peak were to come down, Travis was prepared. Taking stock of the deck now with the quick ball, getting that first deep search into the deck. Bidoof is selected, but everything else is just, again, taking stock of the list, understanding what is prized.
Looking at the hand, too, it doesn't look too good, but you at least got your energy attachment with that stadium to go along with it. And, oh, never mind. There is a quick ball, so you can Crobat and Dark Asset here, at least get that down so you can get the VMAX down next turn.
Deciding what to discard. Actually discards the VMAX.
All right, let's go. Maybe you're just going the Hoopa route, too.
Yeah, a lot of different options for attacking in this deck. So getting rid of the VMAX now while you're trying to get a solid foundation is okay. And we saw it in the first game, right, where it doesn't matter if you have your Crobat VMAX ready to go if you can't accelerate energy to it. And Arceus V is set up here. We just want to find the Hoopa. We want to get the energy attachment here on turn 1 and hopefully prepare for an explosive turn 2 attack.
The thing is, though, Travis, with the way he built his Mew deck, again, we saw how good it was going first. You're able to get your Mew VMAX, get that double turbo energy, clear knockouts. But there's 3 Pokemon Catcher. So you're able to really disrupt your opponent if you have access to your usual game plan and maybe even Melodious Echo early for some big damage. We'll have to see if Travis can pull it off. Does have the replacement stadium.
Rose Tower kicks the Path to the Peak. Also allows you to draw some extra cards. This is going to be invaluable if that Genesect V is not found. There are still, again, 2 in the prizes, so if the other 2 can't be put onto the bench, we're going to need some extra card draw here.
Discards a Mew VMAX, but Travis does play 3, so it's not too bad compared to some of the other lists we've seen.
Exactly. We've actually, when Mew V was starting to get targeted really heavily and it was needing to adapt to the metagame and put in more techs, players had to figure out, but which card is actually the one I cut to make room for these techs? And we saw experimentation with all different distributions of the Mew V and Mew VMAX spread.
With this quick ball, this is where you see, oh no, I prized 2 Genesect V and 2 power tablets. This game's going to be an uphill battle for sure.
Genesect V is found at the very least. We can thin this hand down, draw some more. But after you've discarded the Mew VMAX, you understand how important it is to get a full bench, get that Meloetta. If you're in a position where you are going to be losing and you need to dig into your prizes to get the rest of your pieces, you have to be a little bit more aggressive. Cram-o-matic, and we have Tails.
Oh, that's rough, too, because that's discarding a power tablet, meaning only one left in the deck for right now. Does find a choice belt and a switch. Not really going to do it here. You could play the choice belt, draw 1 card. Play the switch, draw 2.
Yeah, thinking, do I want to commit this belt first? Just to draw an extra card. And this is a tough choice, right? When you have to pre-commit resources like this just to thin the hand down, going for the boss's orders as well so that you can draw up to 3.
That was actually not a bad draw. You get the quick ball and the Meloetta, so you can quick ball for another Genesect and draw 5 cards.
Okay,
Still need
coming together.
a little bit of help, and by a little bit, a lot of help.
A lot of help. And as we head into top 8, like in top 8, we've seen it before. The players, when the chips are down, their backs to a wall, it comes down to a clutch draw. This Genesect is going to draw 5 glorious, beautiful, well-needed, excellent cards here, Jeremy. I can sense it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go.
Already played a supporter for the turn. You got that battle VIP pass to thin it out of your hand. Again, you're just going to get another Mew here. And
oh, you would love this to be another Genesect.
yeah. We honestly might just see a retreat to the Oricorio and then a pass to the turn. I don't even know if Travis has an energy in hand.
Yeah, we're still trying to find Ellis' Sparkle to set up for the next round to get those Fusion Strike energies out of the deck.
And here you see Travis actually thinking, with this Oricorio, Hoopa doesn't knock me out right away, so I'm just going to retreat to the other Mew. Hope Luke doesn't have that Arceus V-Star, but
Evolution Incense finds it, has the Arceus V-Star. Going to search through the deck one more time before we shuffle. And then Starbirth to find 2 cards of your choice. If you Starbirth right now, what do you think that Luke would want to look for, Jeremy?
Double turbo and a way to get out of the active spot, because that equals a perfect KO on that Mew V in Travis's active. If you do that, you can charge up the Hoopa, get ready for next turn, and you even have what looks like a Marnie in hand,
Rose
too.
Tower, drawing back up to 3.
Got to remember your opponent's stadiums always.
They affect both players, yes indeed. And now again, just thinking about what the line of play is going to be. They still have plenty of time left in this round.
You could also be a little greedy and go for the B-Barrel and stuff like that, but I think that's why we see Marnie here first. Luke needs the path to the peak for this turn to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
You're able to search for 2 of the cards, so as long as you draw 1 of the 3 cards you need, it should be good, but it didn't look like it here. We might see a Crobat.
Ultra Ball discarding the Zamazenta. Yeah. Finds the Bibarel. So yeah, even more card draw. This is such a bizarro mirror of the Mew deck, where it still has its own engines and ways to draw tons and tons of cards and find the pieces that it wants to set up these attacks for the turn. Big Charm on the Bidoof just to empty the hand so you can draw all the way up to 5.
There we have it, double turbo and path to the peak found for Luke here.
And now Starbirth to find the missing pieces. This sequence is excellent from Luke, going through all of the natural card draw options first, and then using Starbirth to find what you didn't get.
And it is going to be that air balloon, and I believe Choice Belt was the choice.
The choice to belt. And so with the air balloon, we can get the retreat here, get the Arceus V-Star into the active spot, attach the double turbo, go for the Trinity Nova, accelerate energy onto the Hoopa V.
And thanks to that choice belt, now Hoopa V will be able to, or actually you need the choice belt to knock out the Mew because of the Oricorio.
Yeah, it's the Oricorio, and then the double turbo discounting, reducing the energy. Path to the Peak overwrites the Rose Tower. So we're going to get a big swing here, and then Path to the Peak to shut off Travis's ability to draw cards and get back into this game. 2 prize cards going over to Luke after this energy acceleration.
What a turn from Luke here. Has it fully set up so where you have pretty much everything you need. Your 2 attackers, your draw power in that Industrious Incisors Beef Barrel. And now it's up to Travis to pull something together, but only having 1 power tablet available to him.
Pokemon
no
Catcher.
Play.
And the heads brings up the Bibarel and attaches double turbo energy. 1 more Mew V. We need Training Court in order to get this Path to the Peak out of play to activate the rest of the draw engine on the bench.
It's not looking like it, and just have to hope this B-Barrel stays in the active spot. Just the pass of the turn and pray.
After using that Starbirth ability, but has the air balloon and the boss's orders. So Luke going to be able to make this swap, going to go in with the Hoopa V, get that another KO.
And this is just great. You have that air balloon to retreat the active. That Pal Pad shuffling in that boss's orders, and you're going to Ultra Ball for what looks like the other B-Barrel here?
Yeah, just getting it out of the deck before you draw with the Industrious Incisors. And again, Luke, masterful sequencing here to thin the hand down, keep drawing back up, and this is a much better showcase of what the deck is trying to do than what we saw in the first game. Drawing back up to 5 with the first Bibarel.
Does find the boss here.
And now the retreat.
You don't really need it, though. Just take the knockout.
Yep, going into Arceus V-Star. It's still fully powered up. Has the double turbo offset by the Choice Belt. And Mew V goes down. 2 more prizes to Luke Smith. 2 prizes left now. Travis Beckwith still needs to take 6 and is struggling to find an attacker, and Scoop's going to take this to game 3. First match of the top 8.
A very different turn 1, turn 2 from Travis there compared to those first turns that we had in game 1. Just no real attack coming from him there, and Luke's probably like, oh, you got it coming to you, because that's what happened to me game 1. now we go to game 3. Maybe both of us can attack.
Game 3, Travis now praying Genesect, stay out of the prizes, get in my deck, get onto the bench, and draw me cards. After all of this time, look at the records, 10-2-2, 10-2-2. These players are very evenly matched. Despite the matchup disparity, we can still see that when one player is favored or the other, with clean plays, with a little bit of luck, you can still find these wins. And so here we are in game 3 with so much on the line.
And plenty of time left to go. That's just one of the things when you're playing
Yes.
Mew against the deck. You either win really fast or lose really fast.
Win by the Mew, die by the Mew. So much time left as well means that these players are going to take that much more time to think about their plays. Sequences that might seem obvious and decks that normally play very rapidly can now take that extra breathing time to really calculate these lines and plan for the future turns.
Looks like a mulligan here from Travis. Not starting off things too well, but does get to go first this game, so silver lining.
1 mulligan already. This is what happened at the start of game 2. And if you give the deck that has a bit of an edge over you some extra cards to start out with, it just improves the chances that Luke is going to have that key Arceus V energy attachment setup that perfectly cascades into the V-Star evolution, into the Starbirth, into the rest of the setup, right? Bidoof into Bibarel, which is doing its best like Genesect cosplay and fueling this Arceus Crobat VMAX deck.
7 cards for Travis. Starts with the Genesect V, so now we are going to get it going. Game 3 for top 8. Winner here moves on to top 4 and keeps their tournament hopes alive. And wow, another Genesect in the prizes, as well as a 1-1 Mew VMAX.
Luke has one path to the peak in the prizes, so if the first path is responded to by Rose Tower and the second path is responded to by the training court, that means that Travis will be free to go and draw tons of cards. Genesect starting out in the active spot and then Battle VIP Pass to open us up.
Yeah, it was such a good top deck for Travis there. I believe didn't really have much in hand, and then finding that Battle VIP Pass just opens up so many possibilities.
Now, Battle VIP Pass is a unique card in that it can only be used during your first turn. You get 2 basic Pokemon of your choosing from your deck and put them right onto your bench. And if it's beyond turn 1, VMAX is very happy to use this as discard fodder with the Cramomatic, with the Ultra Ball, with the Quick Ball to just get cards out of the hand and then refuel with the Genesect V's Fusion Strike system.
Oh, yeah, look at that hand. There was a couple switch and energy. Oh, no, that's just not really going to get going. And thankfully, this Battle VIP Pass was there, and we'll actually potentially have a game here.
And Luke also, on the opposite side, starting with that Zamazenta V, an interesting tech that you talked a little bit about, Jeremy, of being able to just potentially draw even more cards if you're backed into a corner. And if Luke, once he gets that next draw at the start of his turn, is also on a dead hand, Zamazenta V could, bail him out.
Looks like Oricorio will be the card of choice for Rotom Phone. It's going to go on top of the deck. Travis, I believe, can thin the hand down to 2, but it would be using up a power tablet and a switch. Or
And
no, just a switch and a choice belt.
And that's a tough order, like we saw, where Travis was forced to use that power tablet a little bit earlier just to thin the hand down, trying to come back into the game, and it ended up not working. So switch comes down, choice belt is attached. Genesect V, Fusion Strike System number 1, drawing back up. And another.
This is not good, though. I don't see a stadium in hand for Travis, and not really going to do too much. We have no draw power outside of those Genesect V, and this path to the peak is going to be detrimental.
And this could be the point where Luke just runs away with the game. If you can get this path to the peak to stick and stop Travis for a couple turns of needing to find the counter stadium, it gives you so much time to set up with the Arceus. And as you mentioned as well, Jeremy, the Regal Stance, once returned, you can just discard your hand, draw 5 cards. But going for the Quick Ball first.
Won't be too good here if Luke decides to play that path to the peak, just because it will shut off your own Zamazenta V.
Mm-hmm.
Also, looking at the hand, though, that's not a very good hand from Luke either. I think there's a boss's orders, but no other supporter.
So this is going to be the game 3 of the struggle. Both players just scrambling to put together some threat potential against the opponent, and it's going to come down to who can do it first. And when you're looking across the table at Mew VMAX, you have to consider that this deck is always nearly going to be at the advantage when it comes to drawing through the deck and finding what it needs to start threatening you. One Elisasparkle, one Meloetta could just be the backbreaker for Luke's setup here.
And here you see Luke just kind of sensing that, like, I don't have anything. If I grab an Arceus and try to get that set up, I'm not going to do much. So I'll grab this Crobat V, hope to Dark Asset and draw a few cards. Maybe I'll draw into an Arceus, maybe another supporter, and get things going from there.
Palpad going to shuffle that boss's orders that was just used back into the deck. Going to have access to that down the road.
2 cards. Oh, no.
Finds an energy and a big charm. Not what you want to see, but it can still attach to the Crobat V. One of the upsides of this build is Crobat V is an actual attacking threat once you evolve it into the Crobat V Max, and Path to the Peak might buy Luke a lot of time here, even though Travis is almost fully set up. Just passes right back, yeah.
Oh my. At least you have this time. You can charge up that Crobat VMAX manually. Who needs Arceus?
The manual attachments were back into the glory days, Jeremy. Just attach, pass, attach, pass. What more can you ask for? Good, clean fun. Nothing happening, just attaching the energies, passes back.
Your idea of fun and my idea of fun's a little different, Adam, but...
Fun maybe isn't the right word. Maybe nostalgic is a better word.
Good old days of Haymaker where you just, oh, attack. But there's no attacking here yet.
I know. Luke still has to find a way to get the Zamazenta out of the active spot. It's sitting there with a big shield on its chest, but it can't attack. We got to get it out of the way first.
Listen, he protects, he doesn't attack, you know?
Zamazenta protect. And
Psychic Energy on that Mew V, but this is all Travis can do here. You have a switch to switch the Genesect, but you are not going to deal back. 70 damage.
This path to the peak buying Luke so much time to pivot into this Crobat VMAX and get a Dark Attacker up and running.
Here's the double turbo energy attached to the active. That allows you to retreat now, and you can stealth poison, but no, just
pass this back. How much value can Luke get out of this path to the peak? I'm going to push my luck. I'm pretty sure you won't top deck another counter stadium. And then Travis passes back. So many turns have gone by, but nothing has happened as of yet. And now with Zamazenta V holding back the floodgates of Mew VMAX alongside the path to the peak, it's just about time for Crobat VMAX to come off of the bench swinging.
Yeah, finally, Luke was able to find a good supporter in that Professor's Research exactly right on time. And now you got to get things going, but I didn't see another Dark Energy.
Yep, just attaches the double turbo. Still has to find the Arceus V-Star to have, again, that extra attacking potential, that extra energy acceleration, even if the path is stopping your Star Birth. Ultra Ball now. On top of everything, if Luke can get a Bibarel set up, then that's going to be many more resources flying to Luke, where Travis is stuck with just one draw per turn until a stadium is found to get rid of the path to the peak, and Luke is going to jump way out ahead here in the third game. The tiebreaker here in top 8 Secaucus Regional Championships.
Now, I do love this play of retreating to the Arceus V with the extra double turbo energy. Now you get multiple things set up as well as the Arceus. So if Travis does nothing yet again, which looks like he will not, that means you are very good position for this rest of the game.
Wow, Path to the Peak was a stadium that really fell out of favor for a long time. And once it came back into the scene to stop the Genesects, the Mew decks were running 2-3 stadiums, and now it's just not enough to consistently answer this path. Even though you have the training court in the Rose Tower, when they aren't there when you need them, you suffer under the effects of Path to the Peak so much, just canceling out the abilities of all rule box Pokemon.
And here you have Ultra Ball discarding the cards in the hand. Now you'll be able to get that Arceus V-Star and get things going with some actual damage from attacks, you know, once in a while.
Damage? I completely forgot what that is, Jeremy. There is no damage. This is just a game where you build a fun little village on your side of the board of your favorite Pokemon, and they all just have a party.
That's my mistake. All right, Professor's Research discards the hand yet again of fresh new 7 cards. I bet Travis could use a couple of those right about now.
Professor's Envy. Looking across the table and seeing your opponent draw 7. Attaches the air balloon. We've still got the Industrious Incisors. We can thin the hand down, draw more.
I already used it for the turn before the Professor's Research.
Okay, good. Don't want any mis-sequencing here. Sometimes if you do get far ahead, you can forget one step, like we did kind of see earlier in the broadcast, and that can give your opponent a little bit of an edge. So now Mew comes up after the knockout.
Yeah, thanks to that Choice Belt, being able to get the numbers necessary to get the knockout on that Genesect V. Luke is now down to 4 prizes and has a clear game plan for this rest of the game. You just need to hope Travis doesn't keep drawing, and you can do better.
And passes, yeah. Just keep sending up these single prize Pokemon. Buy yourself as many turns as possible. If one of the 2 stadium cards is in the top, say, 4 cards of the deck, Travis will suddenly just explode back into the fray.
Honestly, though, there's kind of a point of no return once Luke gets things set up here. And I think after this turn, you're going to have that Zamazenta V fully powered up. That Crobat VMAX is already fully powered up. You're going to set up another Arceus potentially. And with all of that, it's just too almost overwhelming for Travis to come.
And this is wild that we were hyping up having the edge in a Darkness attacker, but literally this isn't Arceus Crobat. This is Arceus Path to the Peak. Just the lockdown here. So much value. Everything on the bench can potentially become an attacker. Bibarel is about to get in the action. There's just too many energies in play right now, and you're just going to start swinging. This is now pivoting to something similar to Malamar, where you're just attacking and attacking and attacking, and eventually you win. Mew V goes down. 2 more prizes for Luke Smith. An embarrassment of riches. So many cards in hand. Access to so many cards. 2 more prizes for victory, and Travis has to concede. Luke Smith taking his match for top 8 and advancing to top 4 of the Secaucus Regional Championships.
Being able to overcome that loss in game 1 of this series, just able to stick down that path to the peak. Didn't have it that game 1, but games 2 and 3 comes out pretty well, and you couldn't ask for a better game for Luke there that game 3.
When all of these Arceus decks are putting in the dark Pokemon, that is still the reason for it. Even if the Path to the Peak wasn't found, because of the ability to have that potential to get the double damage, get that big burst of damage, you can still find an advantage in that matchup. But locking your opponent out of drawing cards with Path to the Peak is basically what so many other archetypes are just trying to do artificially. Again, with the Malamar decks that we saw, where they use the Max Jammer to put that card onto the bottom of the deck, then they Marnie you, etc., etc. And sometimes Path to the Peak is fine. If my opponent is bricked, bam, and then you're in top deck mode. And so many unlucky dead draws. We would have liked to perhaps see, right, one of those stadiums come off, see Travis put up a bit more of a fight there in game 3. But, I mean, when it comes to deck building, when it comes to the matchups, them's the breaks.
Yeah, and looking at some of the other games for top 8, I believe they're all going to game